So here's a lesson that's being learned for the 1 billionth time. If there is a card on a ban list and it costs pennies, maybe even $1, it is not a bad idea to speculate on the damn card and on the off chance that it could be unbanned. You gotta ask yourself, is there even the remotely smallest chance of this thing getting unbanned? Because that is exactly what happened with Wildfire. Wildfire, the recent hot card. And I'm not talking about the fire part of Worldfire. I'm talking, this thing got unbanned in Commander, and now it went from like $1.42 and went straight to the moon. It went straight up to $31. I don't know if it's being sold for that much money, but it went up there and crashing fast. But you got to take advantage of it when it happens, people. Greetings, Rival Jerry. Welcome. So, we'll see what they have to say here. Last Monday, the quarterly update from the Commander Rules Committee was released, where we see some changes in cards, in what cards are banned in the Commander format. This committee is not officially linked to Wizards of the Coast, but definitely is regarded as the authority over... What do you mean regard? They have the power. I mean, with Wizards doesn't have this power. I feel like there's a lot of filler in this write-up. This committee decided to ban Golos, which has nothing to do with this. But they also decided to ban Worldfire. And there we see the reason for the spike. They felt that even though Worldfire is an insanely powerful card, it does need proper setup to pull it off and end up ahead of your opponents. Yes, but otherwise you're just... I mean, you basically reset the game. And what I mean by reset the game, I mean like the game will just end really quickly and you guys will play another one, and it will feel like absolute random chance whether who wins or not. There's going to be a lot of situations you just Worldfire for the sake of Worldfiring your opponent. Or you got that Goblin Chain Whirler that deals 1 damage to everyone. 1 shot, 1 kill, it's all over. Okay, whatever. I can imagine that everyone wanted to get at least a copy in case they ever want to play with it, but speculators probably also tried to hoard them for $1.50 and unload them as soon as possible. You hear that, people? Maybe speculators, they were in on it. They understood the strategy. You get in on those banned cards for $1.50 and then you just dump them when the time is right. That's amazing returns. $1.50 into, like, even if it goes to 25 bucks. That's big money. They gotta sell it like hotcakes, though. In the end, I expect this card to sell around $5. Oh, you are a financial expert here at MTG Stocks, are you? Since I do not think it's an auto-include in red decks, and while powerful, it does indeed require some setup. Remember, you don't only nuke your opponent's hand, graveyard, and board, but also your own. Yes, it all goes to the garbage. The garbage. There are other big spikes, apparently. We got Spellbinder here. What is this? Whenever it's got Imprint. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may copy the imprinted instant and play the copy. What the hell? What a pile of trash. Curse of Vengeance. Enchant player. Oh, this is probably big because of the new curse spells. Enchant player. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell, put a spike count on Curse of Vengeance. When enchanted player loses the game, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of spike counters. That's pretty cool. That's actually, and it's one mana. Cool stuff. With Teferi's protection now, Worldfire doesn't seem as bad. Lots of free counter spells too. Let's see Teferi's protection. Protect me, Teferi. Till your next turn, your life total can't change. All permanents you control phase out. Whoa! We've got the answers. The metagame is already adjusting. The theoretical metagame is adjusting before there is even a metagame. Yeah, you could. Oh yeah, you could Boseiju the Wildfire. That's also a possibility. Like, you don't need the life. Who cares? Who cares? Who needs life? Not needed at all. Anyway, Teferi's protection looks like it will protect everything. Protects your life total. You keep all your stuff. Will you till end turn, and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out, so they sort of disappear for a little while. Worldfire resolves, and then you get all your stuff back. And then you're just laughing at the Worldfire guy. Got him. All right, welcome everyone to the morning show, the single most interactive MTG stream on the internet, Coffee and MTG, where we do Oh, I screwed up my intro. I'm trying to mix something new in there, and now I'm all discombobulated. All right, welcome everyone to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. Get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning. Also, we do deck list review. So if you got a 75, you've always wanted some feedback on, hey, submit it to us, and both myself and the coffee crew can give you some feedback. So brew up those coffees, everyone. Let's brew up some Magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for... what's the date today? 17th of September, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, Bearer. Good morning, Aztec Guy. Shuck Creations, Gold Medals. Eloy. Good morning, BHW. Rival Jerry. Benji Boy. Ronnie. Kaya. MTG Ectoplasm. Cythrone. Caleb. Popo. Mareep. Trevor. Just. Walter. Teferi's Protection is amazing. We take Caleb Popo. We've got a review. Is there a site that you can... I'm pretty sure there's a site you can do that. You can, like, review the cards, or you can leave a comment on the cards. Like, this card, 4 stars. It works! Or 1 star. This card sucks. It doesn't do what I want it to do. You know, like, you know, Amazon reviews and eBay reviews, except instead of users or products, it's cards. I feel like that should be a thing. That should be something that exists. Anyway... you know the deal, everyone. You know the deal, everyone. We have sponsors, and this is a good deal. This is a good sponsor thing coming up. FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week. This is definitely one of the better deals of the year. Save up to 15% off all revised singles. You see the pictures of all those dual lands in the image. You see the Mana Vault. If you want that old-fashioned Birds of Paradise, but the reserve list cards like Wheel of Fortune. You know, any revised card, 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. If you're a little short on money to get that dual land that you always wanted before it spikes hard. Well, you never know when these things move up. So I don't want to induce any FOMO into you people. You know, whatever. But, like, if you're a little short on it and you're like, if only it was, like, a few $100s less. Now might be your time because you get 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. And you also, don't forget, you get an additional 5% off on top of that 15% when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Innistrad Midnight Hunt cards are already available. However, only for people who are users of Mana Traders for 3+ months, and over time it will disseminate to everybody else. But those cards are online. And if you want to play with the new cards, before you want to buy them, you know, try to take it out for a test drive to see if it actually works the way you want it to work. You don't have to buy into the card first. You can rent them all with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. How are we all doing this morning? Hopefully good. The site to review cards and other stuff equals Reddit. Yeah, but do we get, like, the little reviews? Do we get the 1-star, 2-star reviews? We should have stars, you know? We need the little stars. Caleb Popo giving someone the GG in MTG Arena. The Teferi's Protection there, full swing, is priceless. Oh my god. You're playing that? Is that Arena playable? It is legal and historic. Interesting. This is a legal card in Historic. They go GG, phase everything out. You have the protection, or maybe they went to deal a bunch of damage to you and they're screwed. The big blowout. GG. Teferi's Protection. Teferi is there to protect me. But the best is Teferi's Response. They gotta bring this card back. This might see modern play. Counter target spell or ability an opponent controls that targets a land you control. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, destroy that permanent and draw 2 cards. That is a beating. Oh, you want a Field of Ruin me? No. I've got a response. The Teferi response. Teferi always has a response. Okay, so you know the deal. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your question amongst all the channels I'm streaming to. We got this multi-streaming network going on here on all my social media pages. MTG Ectoplasm. Spectral Adversary does almost the same thing as Teferi's Protection. Yeah, but I think it needs like a lot more mana, right? A lot more mana. And it doesn't save you your life. But yeah, similar sort of thing. You could get people with this for sure. Alcan, watching from Greece. Welcome from Greece. Blizzard, welcome. Greetings, Guten Tag. I wish I knew more language. I wish I knew how to say either hello or good morning. I don't even know what that is. Am I saying hello or good morning? I think I'm saying good morning. Good morning, Dakota. Jackson, if you could add one card to Historic, what would it be? I mean, personally, I'd probably just add Ether Vial. Personally, I think that's what I would add. It would help. It would help the tribal decks a lot. Caleb Popo, that Teferi card is also just a draw 2 for 2, right? Stong. Yes, it is. Teferi's response is value. 1 mana, draw a card, basically for each mana, and sometimes you blow up your opponent's like land. So what could this target in Modern? Like, what land would target my land? Or what permanent would target my land, and I could blow it up with Teferi's response? Trying to think, because most permanents that target my land, they're just sacrificing themselves, like Ghost Quarter, Field of Ruin. Oh, maybe On Thin Ice? On Thin Ice could be one. Rishton Dockhand. Oh, Alpine Moon. Vindicate. Imagine Mono Blue Tron playing this card. Imagine Mono Blue Tron playing this card. You're trying to blow up their lands and they... No. I've got a response. The Teferi response. Anyway, this would definitely see play. This might see a ton. Mono Blue Tron might go straight into the sky if this thing got printed. Straight into the sky, to the moon for Mono Blue Tron. Joe Brook with the super chat. Just a reminder, everyone, if you want to cheat the system, get your question or comment pushed onto the feed, donate with a super chat on YouTube on Nikachu MTG streams, and your question gets put to the top of the stream, or top of my feed. Joe Brook, I just put together a vampire deck for Modern, and I'd love to get some feedback. So you can't bribe for deck list review. Sorry, you can get questions answered about your vampire deck if you have like some light questions, but you have to do it like everyone else. Unfortunately, there's no pay to win for deck list review. But if you are curious about deck list review and you want to have a chance to, well, where is it? Do I have something? Yeah, where's my banners? If you want a chance of getting your deck list reviewed, you can go into my description. There's a link to my Discord. Join the Discord, and then go to the channel deck list review. Enter the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list, and that's your best shot. Sorry, we don't pay to. There's no pay to win for deck list review. Otherwise, I'd be here all day. I have a capacity to review 2 decks and that for a day, and that's it for me. And then I'm done. But thank you very much for the super chat. You say good day, good morning would be Guten Morgen. Aha. Okay. Guten Tag is easier for me to remember. Or maybe Guten Morgen is not that hard. Bear, Guardian of Faith does a cheap impression? Oh, Guardian of Faith. New card. Spirit Knight. Flash Vigilance. When Guardian of Faith enters the battlefield, any number of other target creatures you control phase out. Yeah, but you don't keep your... Well, I mean, you don't keep your lands, but if you can keep all your creatures, that is good enough. Against a Worldfire, they're dead. The Worldfire guy's like, ha ha ha, everyone starts the game off at nothing, and then you're like, Guardian of Faith. Thanks for the help, bro. Thanks for the help. And you can phase this thing out, too. And when it enters the battlefield, any number of target creatures you control phase out. Sweet stuff. Kaya says, what's up with Merfolk being number 3 most played deck in Historic based on MTG Goldfish? Because it's a good deck. There were 2 people who finished in the money. Where is it? Let's go look at some decks. Mind you, we don't have... I mean, this is the winning metagame, which is good. So, like, anything that's been published here, I'm assuming... Oh, look at all those friendly fishies. Haven't seen that in a while. Oh, SCG Tour Online Championship also was very, very favored for Merfolk, or sort of. Okay, so some of these results seem very skewed. It's just putting like all the results, the 3 3s, the 4 3s, which I don't think are worth very much. The 1 3s, oh god. Now that we're investigating this, we're a fraud. Look at this. The SCG Tour Online post all our losing records. All of them. Everyone with a losing record, they got published. So this is actually more representative of a metagame and not a winning metagame. So we're number 3 and we're fucking losers. We're losers, fish fam. Oh god, it's just a bunch of losing records. This is a losing record, this is a losing record, this is a losing record. Okay, hold on, we need to do some cross comparison here. We need to do some... Okay, let's look at Sacrifice. Maybe they got losing records here. We got to investigate. Fuck! They're all winning records. This is all winning! The whole thing. The whole thing is winning. Okay, here's some losing records. People suck on these SCG Tour satellite things. But hold on, where's all the records? This is like nothing! This is fake news. How are you 14% of the meta with apparently 131 different deck lists, and we don't even see any of them? We see 2 events here. Oh, and we can see all the sacrifice stacks. Okay, let's show me all the sacrifice stacks. Okay, here we go. Now we see they've got a lot of losing results here too. Gets better as you go down, but a lot of losers here. Tons of losers. So that's interesting. The historic metagame is actually more... this is actually more representative of just a metagame. Like, literally, what's out there. And not what is the best. Because usually, generally speaking, only good decks get published. So, you know, if we go to Modern, this is more reflective of a winning metagame, not the metagame. This is just what all the winners look like. How many of them. It's like a weighted proportion of all the winners in Modern, but in Historic, this seems to be just reflective of just what people are playing, regardless if it's winning or not. So it looks like Merfolk is the 3rd most popular deck. If I am interpreting this correctly. I hope I'm interpreting it correctly. It's good to know, actually. Do you think Fury is good in Burn? Asked Dakota. No. The Fury is card disadvantage. Burn wants to go to the face. There are better ways of... I think there's better ways of stabilizing the board for Burn than to use Fury. Oh god, we can't use this in Mono Blue Tron. Counter target spell or ability an opponent controls that targets a land you control. But you can... No, but you can target your opponents... You can target your opponents like Stone Rain. Or their Alpine Moon that targets you. Or maybe this is in response to another card. If I'm getting confused. Side Throne, good morning, Nikachu. Does Void Mirror hit Indomitable Creativity? No, I don't think so. Void Mirror is this. It's 2 mana for an artifact. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no colored mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Okay, now let's look. Indomitable. I gotta spell this right. Indomitable. Domitable. Creativity. Destroy. X target artifacts and or creatures. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller reveals the cards from the top of his or her library until an artifact or creature card is revealed and exiles that card. Those players put the exiled cards onto the battlefield and cast their then shuffle their libraries. Notice clearly that there's nowhere in here that says it gets cast. if it said exile that card, you may cast that card until end of turn, yes, Void Mirror would work. So it very specifically needs to say that you cast that card, but it isn't. It's just revealed, exile those cards. Those players put the exiled cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library. Why are they bringing more cards that don't get shut off by Grafdigger's Cage? This whole exiling thing is a pile of garbage. What's the point of having, like, Grafdigger's Cage, which is supposed to prevent bullshit like this when, like, it can't? Because, like, the cards end up going into exile. They're not being cast from the library. They're not coming into play from the library. They're coming... Anyway. It's awkward. It's awkward. We have these great tools, sideboard cards, that don't work very well against cards like Indomitable Creativity. B! With Faithless Mending, do you think an Esper Reanimator Shell is possible? I mean, the Esper Reanimator Shell does exist already. Faithful. Yes. That's it. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see if this is good enough. It probably is gonna be a thing. I think the hardest part for a lot of these Reanimator decks is that this is still 2 mana. So 2 mana, you put your payoff card in the graveyard, right? Turn 3, you reanimate it. Turn 4, you're attacking. So it's still a bit slow for Reanimator, but like maybe they take more of a control Reanimator route. You know what I mean? Maybe they're gonna play more control style, where they can play, play counterspells, removal, and be more patient. Maybe that's possible. Maybe they're not even going to care about trying to win as soon as possible. They're just going to try to stabilize the board, and when the time is ready, boom, they go for it. Now's our chance. Erwin Lopez, Gather rates the card by the community. Okay, let's look up Gatherer, Lord of Atlantis. You better rate it good, Gatherer. How many stars? We got nothing. You lied! What am I missing here? Okay, how about maybe we have to look up a more newer card? How about Ren and 6? Where's the rating? I don't see shit. Click. Oh, we gotta click discussion. Where's that? Oh. Here we go. We've got community rating 5 out of 5, 0 votes. All right, so it does exist. It's just not being used very well. Discuss. It's got a high rating out of 106 votes. The player rating is the overall rating of the card. All right, what are the comments? This card is a huge mystery to me. Man, I feel like I'm just going to look up random cards and see what people have to say about it. This card is a huge mystery to me. This actually seems like good content. I'm going to make some content out of this. Are there any, like, really good cards that with, like, hilarious, like, comments on? I should look up Black Lotus. This card is a huge mystery to me. I think some of this was explained in a card of the day on magicthegathering.com, but I'll repost and elaborate. For one, when he first saw print, he merely turned Merfolk of the Pearl Trident into a 2/2. True story. No other Merfolk existed, and he didn't pump other copies of himself because he, well, he should have said because, oh, maybe. Secondly, he is only a 2-drop True Lord. Well, he didn't pump up other copies of himself because back then he was called Lord of Atlantis as a creature type. What a stupid creature type. Secondly, he is the only 2-drop True Lord, one that gives +1/+1 to his friends, which is extremely aggressively costed, yet he is mono blue, the least likely color to get aggressively costed creatures. Yeah, the color pie back. Is Lord of Atlantis like a break in the color pie, like really early on in Magic the Gathering? Were they like breaking the color pie? Did people complain? Oh my god, this is such a break in the color pie. So, third, he himself does not get Island Walk. What the fuck? He is the freaking master of the sunken city, and yet he can only show his friends or other copies of himself how to be unblockable? What is it? What's up with that? I never thought about that before. That is a pile of baloney. He does not know how to grant himself Island Walk. I guess he can't well, I bet it's a thing of motivation. He can't like he can fire up his army, but he can't fire up himself. He can't get in the battle mode. I guess that's the deal. Still, all these weird attributes can't stop this guy from being one of the scariest creatures to hit the legacy battlefield. Oh, that's fire. Oh my god, this is a really old review. This is back in 2010. 2010, people. Holy shit. That's old. Okay, hold on. Let's find a more recent review. 2009? Is that it? We only have one page? We have 2 pages. Let's go to page 2. Let's see some recent, fresh reviews for Lord of Atlantis. It's the most recent review we get from 2012. This is ridiculous. Aquaman? Functional reprint in mod M13? Anyway. Interesting stuff. I definitely gonna dig into these. Okay, what do people have to say about Black Lotus? Let's go look at Black Lotus. And try Hogak, maybe? We should try Hogak. We'll check up Hogak. Look up the comments to Wildfire. Okay, hold on. We're gonna... Black Lotus. The real Black Lotus. Discussion. There are no comments? You gotta be kidding me. No one's talking about this card. It's got a high rating. Maybe people, like, remove the maybe there's some comments removed. I think that's a little fishy. How do you get... Oh, but it's only 7 votes. No one cares about Black Lotus, apparently. Okay, let's look up Hogak. Hogak was a mistake. Discussion. Also no comments. I feel the comments seem to be like a very old thing. Like the last Lord of Atlantis comment was back in 2012. Did people have access to this at one point and they don't have access to it anymore? Magic the Chattering. Pretty sure Wizards turned off the Gatherer comments and rating. Don't think you'll be able to find it for any recent cards. Kind of miss them, to be honest. Yeah, they had to probably moderate it or something. Someone should bring it back. This is definitely a cool feature. Like I said, like, why don't we have this? And so it appears now that we don't have this anymore. Is there anything close? Like, can we talk about cards on Scryfall? Is there a discussion? I never thought about that. But I guess the problem is, like, once you let people in, now you gotta, like, moderate it, and, like, there's not an infinite number of moderators out there. I mean, all it takes is one idiot spamming some crap to ruin everything. So what are other old cards, though, we can look up? I think people just don't go to Gather anymore. Well, judges do, because judges usually have a bunch of there's usually rulings attached. Yeah, here. So, I mean, I know judges go to Gather all the time. And if you're confused about a certain ruling with a card, you go to Gather, because Gather might automatically have the answer for you up front. Card Market has card comments. Beautiful. We're going to Card Market, people. Going to Card Market. Scythrone. Been experimenting with Boros Stoneblade using Blood Moon. Was wondering how clunky Blood Moon can get when splashing a third color. What to splash? Black for removal and hand disruption. You can do it. Okay, so here's the deal. You can splash a third color, but that third color has to be really light. And it cannot be... You need to have very little of it. And I would also say that the most expensive card... Like... It should be for... The third color needs to be a very light splash. And it can't be any 1-drops. So when it comes to, like, if you're trying to play Mardu, like Boros, and add black for a hand, like, discard and removal and stuff like that, your splash maybe should be white, a very light splash. Then you just need one white source to cast Stoneforge Mystic, and you're heavily on Rakdos. But otherwise, it's not going to be worth it, because you can easily Blood Moon yourself. You can easily Blood Moon yourself. Thank you very much for the super chat. All right, so I'm gonna Magic the Gathering. Okay, take my cookies. Yes, just get this thing out of here. Okay, so if we look up, let's look up Hogak again. We're on the hunt for comments. We want people's opinions. They're unfiltered, passionate comments about cards. Okay, so where do I go? Here's the comments. It is banned and dropped a lot. Still a fun EDH card. See Command Zone. Kind of like Reverse Psychology. It's doing well that it's expected to get hit with the ban hammer, so people don't want to invest, but Wizards can't decide if they want to ban Hogak. Oh god, this was at, I guess, in the era. They can't decide whether they want... Oh, they knew they were going to ban Hogak. It's just a matter of when. They don't want... It looks ugly to just ban it up front after the set came out. What is going... What is going on with this card? What is going on with this card? It's obscenely stupid. Oh, now it's crashed almost nothing. You get it for like 50.5 euros. Okay, what else are we looking up? Ancestral Recall. Let's look up Ancestral Recall. And then we'll look up Worldfire. Lord Magicus also has dibs on Stormcrow. Let's look up the alpha one. I hope it doesn't divide the comments out too much. True story, this was developed together with Healing Salve to be part of the Boon cycle. Also, it should be noted that generally Alpha Ancestral gets the caster better cards than Beta for some reason. Alright, that's good to know. If you have money for Beta or Alpha, you get the Alpha. Alpha gets better cards. Okay, let's look up Worldfire. Why is this card spiking so hard now? Someone's got like a spreadsheet for some reason. You can get as low as 9 euros. Good condition. German. Get in all the different languages here at Card Market. Nobody really plays Worldfire, right? Wizards of the Coast, probably. This decision to ban Golos and unban Worldfire is totally incomprehensible to me. We have a Kalia player in our group, and this card is really broken, but both die against removal, so I just don't get it. Someone German. Looks German, at least to me. Wow, from 0.85 euros to 30 euros in 3 hours after unbanning announcement. Gotta go fast. Yeah, let the stonks rise. It's stonks world out there, people. It's stonks. Okay, let's look up Stormcrow. So no one talked about Wildfire until it got unbanned. No one cares. Which one? Is there a special Stormcrow? Which one costs the most? Ooh, the special Stormcrow. This is a promo Stormcrow. What a meme. No comments. Come on, go back. Okay, let's Stormcrow again. Let's. I'm gonna look for. Try to find at least one Stormcrow that. Let's go to 7th edition. They should tell me how many comments there are for the card. Nothing again. No one cares. Unbelievable. Look up Eye of Ugin. One comment. Interesting. What is the connection between Ugin and Eldrazi? Both colorless entities. I look forward to their return in Zendikar. Very old comment back in 2015. Psychotog PL. That is a store, actually. I am familiar with Psychotog. That's interesting advertising. Just talk about random cards, and maybe people will click on your name. Stormcrow has good comments on Gatherer. Okay, back to Gatherer. Back to Gatherer. But which version? Okay, I guess it maybe doesn't matter. Holy shit, there's a lot of comments here. This thing's powerful even by today's standards. Sigh, if only if it had flying. But it does have rereads card. Dear God. Oh my God. So I don't actually know the origin story to Stormcrow. Does anyone have an origin story for Storm? Like, why the fuck is this so iconic now in Magic? Is it like just a... How did this thing become a meme? How did Stormcrow become what it is today? It's a blue and 1 generic for a 1/2 creature. It's sort of unique in that way. I don't know a lot of 1/2 creatures that fly for a blue and a generic. This card is the epitome of good. A lot of examples have been already shown. Combos great with islands, can fly over any non-flyers. You don't have to sack it to make it good like Black Lotus. Not to mention, it can be equipped with Razor Boomerang. Equipped creature deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Oh yeah. That's OP. That's ban-worthy. The storm mechanic is what really makes this card, though. If Wizards had made it a 0/1, it might have had some balance to it, but as of right now, it's overpowered as hell. I normally wish a card such as this hadn't been made, but he's been the source of most of my victories, even with non-blue decks. I predict this card will raise $40 to $50 in value in the next few months. Stock up now. Okay, so does anyone have some, like... What is the origin story to this damn thing? So Kurdquake says, people use Reddit to discuss. Nobody reads comment section of Gather except Nikachu. That's right. Well, this is where it's all compiled. Look up Gather. I'm just curious about right now about... because it flies, a lot of cards fly. It became a meme because flying and 2 toughness. 2 toughness, OP. Way too OP. It was in the same set as Force of Will. It was famously drafted to pitch to... It combos with Force of Will. What's hilarious is they printed the Unstorm card, Stormcrow, or Crow Storm. Yeah, Crow Storm. It's the origin story to Stormcrow. The meme is that it was alliances along with Force of Will. It could be pitched to Force of Will, and that made it awesome. If this is true... Maybe I'll make a video about Stormcrow. This is a pretty iconic... This is weirdly an iconic card in Magic the Gathering. Just weird stuff. Alright, let's get back to the reality. People have questions. They need answers. I mean, we'll look... You know, Gather is something we're going to look up every once in a while. We're just going to look up random cards on Gather. Shuck Creations. I'm in the process of building a cube. Do you think Ancestor Recall is just too powerful to include? No. If you have a power cube, it's not bad at all. Like, it's a strong card or whatever. I mean, it depends how you build the cube. If it's a power cube, it's full of super powerful cards. Ancestral Recall is totally fine. I mean, they put it in like the vintage cube all the time on Magic the Gathering Online, so it's nothing unusual. So include all you want. But if it's like a really low power cube, none of the cards are powerful, but this one card is like overwhelmingly better than everything else, then maybe you got to put it aside. But if you're building with a bunch of other really strong cards, then it doesn't matter. It's all good. I prefer to play with these super powerful cards when I'm playing cube. That's the beauty of cube. Play with all this awesome stuff. Miwosh. Do you think Prismari Command will be a great modern card because I speculated that it will? It already is a great modern card. Like, it sees play already. I think it was... Let's see. Prismari Command. But I think whatever play it's seeing right now, that's basically all the play it's going to see. See? I guess people like had high hopes before, then just crashed to nothing because of supply. Now it's just slowly creeping up. It's slowly going up. Prismari Command. Where it will end, nobody knows. But it's a staple. I would say Prismari Command is a staple of Modern. Easy staple. Teferi's Protection keeps your tokens? Yes, it does, Mareep King. It does keep your tokens. Because here's the thing about phasing. Phasing doesn't remove it from the game or anything like that. It just like basically makes it disappear and they'll make it come back. So we'll keep your tokens. Kurdquake says people use Reddit to discuss. Nobody reads comment section of Gather except Nikachu. Well, here's the thing. Like, people, you gotta understand how did Reddit come to be a thing? Wizards used to have their own sort of Reddit, but you know it was constantly getting bombarded by trolls. They didn't like the fact that they had to moderate it whatsoever, so they basically put an end to it, and I guess put an end to all the discussion of their Gatherer comments. And now all that crap is just, you know, publicly moderated on Reddit. Well, the word on the street is that the moderators still have ties to Wizards of the Coast. Word has it, they still have ties. You want a 7th edition foil Stormcrow? What does this look like? What is the money for that? Okay, we need 7th edition, so that's rare. And now we need to look at the foil. Woo! Oh, it's actually nowhere. I thought it was going to be super high. Looks like people... Oh my god. The only way it could sustain like this is that there was, like, actual cards on the market being bought and sold. What a crash! And what, it went up again? This is stupid. Okay, hold on. What's the market foil? This is for what I think market foil is like what it's actually been sold for. It's been as high as 35 bucks and it's currently $40. That is bananas. Buy Yavimaya Cradle of Growth now or wait. Let's go check it out. Now. It's perfect time. When a price hits flat like this, that's the time to buy. Always. Always. Now, could it get... This is definitely a card that's going to get reprinted like Urborg. Like, Urborg got a few reprints, right? So, I mean, the price could go down, but you never know when that reprint's going to happen. But for the most part, when the price just hits flat like this, it's not like it's going to collapse down anytime soon. This is a textbook case of getting it now. There's no better time to go get this card. Not financial advice. What about Cathartic Pyre and Hollowvine modern decks? I don't know if Cathartic Pyre is what they're looking for. Discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards? There's a lot of cards that do this. That's not a whole lot. They need to discard a lot more cards. They need to go like 3. They want to discard 3, 4 cards. The fact that it can deal 3 damage to a player is not really relevant to them, I don't think. Jack's like 100%, 1000%. No, you got to get in there. Get your one of Yavimaya. I'm assuming that you just need one. Foil Little Girls are over $30. Does such a card exist? Little Girls. Oh my god. Such a card. It does exist. Market foil. Yeah. Should I include Crow Storm in my cube? Absolutely. As long as people don't mind Storm. I mean, I actually like drafting Storm when it goes off. I'm sure no one else likes it. But whatever. I don't care. Screw them. I can understand. I can see the appeal by Storm players. They just cast a bunch of spells and then boom, they've won the game. And they've been just sitting there waiting for me to figure out how to do it. Do you think they'll ban Urza Saga? I mean, like, I can totally see this card being banned one day, especially if the right enabler comes around, but it looks like it's, like, not taking over the format at all. And maybe that's partially because there are bigger fish to worry about than Urza Saga. like the Murktide decks and the well, Hammer Time is a Urza Saga deck, but like the Murktide decks are like a really big portion of the metagame. LK, do you think Hermit will see much play in Modern? Seems like a solid card. Hermit? You mean like the sort of deranged Hermit thing? Oh no, I'm gonna go this one. Deep, I think you meant Deep Forest Hermit. No. And that's all I gotta say about that. And now that the music has changed and we got the command, it is time for deck list review. So, if you want it to be eligible for your deck list to be presented here on the show in front of everyone, get the feedback both from myself and the coffee crew. Go into my description. There is a link to my Discord. Join the Discord. Join the channel deck list review. Enter the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list. And you're eligible at random. Random chance here. I'm going to remind everyone this is not pay to win. Can't pay to win for deck list review. You'll be eligible at random. I probably could make a lot of money looking at deck lists. I don't know. I got to figure something out that's fair to both the people who are doing it for free and the people who are doing it pay to win. Maybe there's going to be pay to win day. I don't know. Like, there's no way you can donate. No, there is a way, actually. I mean, if you're a member, there could be a separate channel. Whatever. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I won't really think about it too hard. Anyway, you can use the command. You'll be eligible at random for deck list review. Is today Friday? Oh, yes. Today's Friday, so after today's show, I will be clearing the queue of people. And then if you submit it after today's show, it'll be eligible to be chosen for the next week. For the entirety of next week. All right. CFest90. Congratulations. You're the next contestant on deck list review. We got mono green land destruction here. Mono green and land destruction and mono green. Let me guess, you're gonna have Plow Under. Is Plow Under a card in Modern? I guess so. It is a Modern card. 2 random, 1 paid. Kiwi says, I'll trade my white monkey Ragavan for 2 foil little girls. Let us help you help us. 3 is too much. My brain will melt. Okay, mono green land destruction, Arbor Elf, Noble Hierarch, Eternal Witness, Stampede, Wildebeest, Acidic Slime. I love Acidic Slime. I am a huge fan of this card is hilarious and really versatile. The only problem for Modern is it's 5 mana. But you know, you're trying to solve that with the Utopia Sprawls, right? Utopia Sprawl and Arbor Elf. You have Utopia Sprawl, right? Yep, you got Utopia Sprawl. And you got Trinisphere. That's very smart. I like this a lot. This can win you the game on the spot against a lot of decks. If you're like turn 1 Utopia Sprawl, right now might be a really good time for Trinisphere because that will screw over the Hammer Time decks. It will screw over like the Murktide decks. This is a very good card right now. I think it only can be really utilized by like a deck with ramp. But when you're using ramp like Utopia Sprawl, it's very good. Garruk Wildspeaker is a fine card. Karn the Great Creator is a great card. Yes! You know, we gotta think big here, people. Nissa, World Waker, target land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental. Untap up to 4 target forests. This is a very underwhelming creature. Or sorry, this is a very underwhelming Planeswalker in my opinion. Search your library for any number of basic land cards, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. They become 4/4s. I'm not impressed with this card. Target land you control. Well, I mean, I guess it at least permanently turns lands into creatures, so that it's good on defense and it's a plus ability. Target land you control. This is Modern legal? What the hell set is this? Not gonna lie, this looks really fun and rage-inducing for the opponent. You got a 1 of Hornet Queen. Do you have any way of finding that 1 of? You have Primal Command. Yeah, you do. Repudiate and Replicate. Okay, so this is like the first card I'm like not very high on. I would actually just have a 4th Trinisphere. I don't really love this card, and you have no way to cast the Replicate, or do you have... No, you have, I guess, some way to cast the Replicate card, but is it that good? Maybe it's not too bad. Maybe you actually have more ways than I think of getting... You also have Noble Hierarch. Okay, I take it back. Maybe you can play the Replicate card, and Replicate will work with Eternal Witness with Acidic Slime. Alright, we'll see how this works. But the whole, like... Because it's a Stifle. I guess you can't read it. Repudiate is basically Stifle. Counter target activated or triggered ability. It's a big Gotham card. I don't think it's very reliable at all. I like the Replicate part a lot, but I don't think it works with your game plan very well. But whatever, if you want to run it, you run it. But I would say this is one of the weaker cards in your list. I do understand, though, you need to slow the... You might want something in this deck to slow the game down. I mean, okay, we should have another Trinisphere, because you really need to slow the game down. Yeah, Stifle is for fetch lands, but there's not that much fetch lands. And you're going to be tapping out very often. Like, this card's not... What I would get at is that this card's not going to do what you want it to do. You're like, we're going to stifle a fetch land. This is going to be awesome. Then you hold up mana to stifle a fetch land. Then they don't even play a fetch land. They just play, like, Blackleaf Clefts. And then all of a sudden this card did nothing. And very often you're going to be tapping out for other stuff, right? You're tapping. This is a very huge tap out deck. So, Hornet Queen, Stampeding. What is Trample? At the beginning of your upkeep, return a green creature you control to its owner's hand. Okay, having one of these is fine to, you know, dig for. You can dig for it with, what's it called? Primal Command. Why not mainboard Liquid Metal Coating and mainboard Artifact Hate instead? Well, it would take a lot of cards out of the deck. Like, you could take the deck into a very different direction, but, like, remember, Liquid Metal Coating does nothing unless you have a Karn the Great Creator out. It doesn't really hose fetch lands, though. Like, you're gonna get them once. Here's the deal. Okay, you play maybe you get one fetch land. But then after that, your opponent will play around Repudiate for the rest of the game. They'll play their fetch lands immediately, crack them immediately, get their land out, and, like, this is never gonna pull off. You'll never pull this off again. And even when you try, sometimes your opponent just don't have fetch lands. Fetch lands are not that popular. People have less fetch... There's less fetch lands out there than you think, people. There's a lot less. Now that being said, I don't want to change much. I want to add another Trinisphere. So I would, like, personally, I would put a 4th Trinisphere in this deck. Because I think it's very good right now. How good is it? Great. Okay. Pretty good. Great. Not very good. Great. Probably doesn't matter. I think good, but maybe not great. Great. Useless. But whatever. I like Trinisphere. I like this. I like the idea of playing Trinisphere a lot. Okay, you have 20 lands. Ballista Cage, Pithing Needle, Veil of Summer, Liquid Metal Coating, Torpor Orb, Beast Within, Ensnaring Bridge, Trinisphere. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. You want to have the 4th Trinisphere on the sideboard. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, isn't the 4? I just recognized that right now looking at the sideboard. Obstinate Baloth, Wormcoil Engine, and Sundering Titan. Well, now I'm thinking, like, is this a good wishboard target? Like, it probably is. You probably still want to have that option available to you. Yeah. Because I'm thinking, like, if you have the mana for Karn the Great Creator and you get Trinisphere and you cast it, like, maybe at that point of the game it doesn't even matter anymore. But probably there's probably some scenarios where it does. So I would keep it as it is. Which is better, Nissa Worldwrecker or Nissa Who Shakes the World? I think... So let's look at Nissa Who Shakes the World. Or who just likes to shake it. Shake it. Whenever you tap a force for mana, add additional mana. Put 3 counters on up to 1 target creature. Untap up to... You know what? This one might be better in this deck, because you get to untap up to 4 target forests. So you could untap, like... And you can untap a forest with Utopia Sprawl, and you might want the extra mana. And it doesn't cost that... Like, it's a plus ability still. So this deck probably wants Nissa, World Waker. This might be underrated. It might be an underrated Planeswalker. No, I think I like... I see the appeal... But being able to untap 4 forests in this deck might be like a better mana source than this, because like you tap out to play this and you don't get to do anything anymore this turn. Whereas in this deck, you tap out and you're still doing stuff. Anyway, I think this deck is nice. I don't really have any feedback. I'm skeptical of this card, but that's it. But I see that if you have enough, you do have enough blue in this deck. You can take advantage of it and copy things like Acidic Slime, Hornet Queen, and Eternal Witness, and it'll be fine. How about Repudiate as a sideboard package? 4x move in for game. No, I just don't believe in the card, so I don't want more of them. Like, I'm not doubling down on this thing. The stifling thing, it sucks, in my opinion. I think the stifling ability, at least when it comes to fetch lands, you know, you can stifle. There are some other things you might be able to stifle, like, I don't know, an expedition map or something. But I really think that blue for, or sorry, green for stifling is like a little overrated. So I would rather have something else. But I understand you don't have much else to do early on in the game anyway, so maybe this is your best way of stalling the game. If I was playing a 4, I don't know what this is, and my opponent spent turn 2 to hose one of my fetch lands, I would be ecstatic. Oh yeah. Anyway, I have no feedback, nothing. Sweet list. Good luck with it. Love the Trinisphere and Utopia Sprawl thing. I would just keep a close eye on the Repudiate Replicate. But maybe the value is in the Replicate, not the Repudiate. NG2 to the 2. Congratulations, you are the next contestant on Decklist Review. Nissa, who shakes the world, gives a similar mana boost, but also kills if unopposed. Do you add... Someone says you get, like, so much mana. Who shakes the world, untaps 2... Oh, yeah, that's technically, yeah, it's untapping 2 forests because you get an additional mana. I think I would still take the other one. Yeah, I mean, they both make creatures. They both make creatures, right? They both make creatures. But one adds way more mana. All right, what do we got here? Lurrus Bogles. Why not? We've got a Cartouche, Daybreak Coronet. Yeah, Lurrus was always in a Bogles deck, right? Lurrus was always in a Bogles deck. So Daybreak Coronet, Ethereal Armor, Griff's Boon, Hyena Umbra, Keen Sense, Rancor, Spider Umbra, 1 Spirit Link, 2 Spirit Mantle, 1 Dryad Arbor, 4 Horizon Canopy, 4 Razor Verge Thicket, Snow Cover Forest and Plains, Temple Garden, Windswept Heath, Glade Cover Scout. We got Spirit Dancer, Slippery Bogle. This looks like a very stock version of Bogles. Mana Tithe, Path to Exile. Okay, this is my green-white Lurrus Bogles deck. I use Lurrus game 1 and side in Ley Lines if needed, but I don't know if I should switch the strat around and main Ley Lines. Any input would be helpful. So, you could do that. You could go the direction of... I mean, it depends on, like, you know, what are you facing more often? I mean, it's the classic... It's the classic discussion about, like, if you side in a card so often, then it should be in your main deck. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. How often are you siding this card in? Because Luris is good in almost every matchup, no matter what. Well, in theory. I mean, it's a free roll. So you got to ask yourself, are you siding this card in? Leyline of Sanctity. Is it being sided in every single game? And if the answer is yes, then maybe this should be the card that's main boarded. Leyline, I would say, Boggles, the best builds of Boggles have Leyline of Sanctity in the main deck. I find that when Boggles is really winning, they're playing with Leyline of Sanctity in the main. They're like playing very unfair. Like the deck really isn't very powerful. It's not a powerful deck at all. And there are a lot of ways of getting around this hexproof crap by like either destroying the auras, you discard them from your hand, the opponent just mulligans too much and they're just low on resources. So it's really not that big of a deal, but when you're playing with Leyline of Sanctity in addition to all this other stuff that you're doing, now all of a sudden maybe you're locking out enough cards that your opponent can't win. Leyline of Sanctity does make a big deal, but the fact of the matter is if it's not well positioned, then you can't main deck it at all. But you do have a stock list here of Bogles. Jack Torborg, disagree with the if you're always siding an input in the main. If you're siding it in to fight other opponents' sideboards, you are already set up, right? Okay, that's true. But I'm just saying in general, when you're siding in a card, it's usually because... I mean, we are still, to some extent, siding in cards for our opponent's Game 1 strategy. I mean, if you are siding in cards for people's Game 2 strategy, then it's pointless in the main. That is true. But, Leyline of Sanctity is being brought in like when you're up against Thoughtseize decks, for example. Or you're up against Burn decks. So if I were here, like, I wouldn't bring it in against Hammer Time. Might bring it in versus Is It Tempo so you can't be targeted. Or actually doesn't matter. Maybe they don't target us that much. Maybe this deck doesn't matter at all. Okay, you would not bring in Leyline of Sanctity. You definitely bring it in versus Jund. Definitely bring it in versus Burn. Is it good versus Elementals? Would Bogles just smash this thing? Bring it on, Elementals. Bring on all the value you want. I got a gigantic Bogle. Doesn't Bogle usually play Hierarchs against Edict effects? No, it plays one, where's the lands? One Dryad Arbor. So they can fetch out the Dryad Arbor. Got him. Got him. Spirit Tally, the worst enemy of Bogles right now is Engineered Explosives. Maybe Pithing Needle or something like that. You know, that's a good idea. Like, the problem is Bogles has a lot of enemies right now. A lot of enemies. It's like, the deck is just insanely vulnerable. I mean, it can't beat Blast Zone. It can't beat Engineered Explosives. It can just lose to itself every so often. But I mean, I think that's reasonable. Maybe it should play with Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle can hit the hit Blast Zone as well. Not sure what to take out though. Maybe Leyline of Sanctity is not well positioned. Like, what are we bringing this in against? Unless there's something I don't know about. Like, it doesn't do anything to Living End, Indomitable Creativity. Tron. It does something versus Mill, but you can beat Mill in other ways. Maybe it should remove the ley lines. Like, it's just poorly positioned right now. It's got some matchups, but there's just not enough. Death and Taxes, doesn't care. Eldrazi Tron cares like a little bit. Not really, though. Yeah, maybe the suggestion in today's modern metagame, dump this card. And just try to beat all those... Just pray to God for the Thoughtseize matchups, and then just try to beat them with Lifelink in the Burn matchup. It stops Grief versus Living End and other Thoughtseize effects. Who cares? I understand. I understand that that's what it does, but there's just not that much out there. I don't think there's enough to warrant 4 of them. Like, if you're up against Living End, just play Rest in Peace. Oh yeah, and most of the new mill spells don't even target. It's like opponents discard cards. So maybe this is... anyway, I don't know your metagame, though. If your metagame is different, you keep the ley lines in. And if you find that it's useful in every matchup, then you main deck the thing. It's as simple as that. Outside of that, yeah, that's all I have to talk about. It doesn't look really that well positioned in the online metagame. It doesn't really look that great at all. And you could use those slots for something else, like to protect yourself from engineered explosives. Things like Pithing Needle and so on. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. Hey, if I didn't get your comments, questions, or deck list, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you'd love to support Coffee and MTG, and you don't do so already, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. You could become a patron at patreon.com, or if you're on YouTube, you can hit the join button. But thank you very much for joining me today. We had a great discussion, and we learned something. We can look up comments on Card Market. So this is not the last, and also on Gather. So this is not going to be the last that we're going to look up what people think about cards. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Interesting and entertaining. So keep brewing those coffees, Coffee Crew, and we'll keep brewing up magic. Take care of yourselves, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.